Well, Tom, we've just lifted the mattress.
Right.
What happens to the beddings?
Well, what you're going to want to do is you want to try to leave this bedding in place if possible. And I'll tell you, because what tends to happen in these situations, if people remove this bedding, what would you do with the bedding if you removed it?
Probably put them at a place where heat can easily.
So if you were to, so say you were to take this bedding and you were to ball it up and lay it in the middle of the floor.
It means that the bed bugs will have that cold.
Exactly. If you leave it in place and leave it flat and heat everything up at a steady, good temperature, you're not going to have that issue. What tends to happen is if someone strips this bed and they take the, say you were to strip this bed and take the bedding out of here.
We have moved the bed bugs from.
Exactly. What you've done now is you've taken one infestation and moved it to another infestation. So your best bet in any situation is to try to leave as many things in place as possible. The biggest thing you're going to have with bedding and the biggest thing you're going to have with a bed as far as bed bugs go are the box spring. Your biggest challenge to controlling bed bugs in a bed is going to be your box spring, because you have the wooden slats and all the joints where everything's screwed together. Just a lot more places for bed bugs to hide, a lot more places for them to harbor. So what you're going to want to do with this is you're going to want to pick this up and see your aeration crate. You want to stuff it right in one of those little, see one of those little squares right there?
Yes.
So now you got air can get underneath here. In this particular case, you have two twin mattresses with a full size on it. Okay?
Yeah.
The only challenge you may have here is the area between these two. But see, fortunately,
There's
a pretty good gap in there. They're not together. If they were together, like if you had a situation where these were touching and they were really tight, that would be something you need to address separately.
Okay.
But the fact that you're able to put your hand in there,
The air will penetrate.
air can penetrate that.
Sure.
Okay, so next thing you want to address is the headboard. So what you want to do, it's fine, it's not going to go anywhere, you're good. What you want to do with the headboard is, in a lot of hotel rooms, where's that headboard? It's affixed to the wall.
Normally fixed.
They're normally fixed to the wall, correct? Not an issue. If you can take a credit card or any kind of business card or anything of that nature and run around the edge of it and it's able to go around it unobstructed, the air can get through. The other thing is there's metal brackets behind that
Yes.
that hold it up. Those metal brackets are going to get hot. They're going to radiate that heat across the face of the brackets.
Okay.
So not really a big issue. This particular case, you've got just a freestanding headboard. Great thing, because you don't really have to worry too much about, places for them to get between the wall and the headboard.
Okay. There will be free circulation of air.
Correct.
Sure.
The legs themselves of the bed, a lot of times they have those big rubber feet on them, so they'll sit right on the ground.
Yes.
If that's the case, once you get probably 3/4 of the way through the treatment, you can take the aeration crates and everything out,
Okay.
and you can jack them up under the bed frame. You can just slide them in under the bed frame, pick that bed frame up just a little bit off the
So
ground.
they're suspended.
Right, so that, and what you'll see a lot of times in a heavily infested unit, if you do that, when you pick that leg up, there's going to be a bunch of bed bugs in that little circle where that foot was sitting on the ground, because they've all migrated to that cold area.
Okay.
Okay? So now, we've covered basically the preparation that you need to take care of in a hotel room. Now, let's get to the fun part. Let's get it treated.
Thank you.
What you're going to want to do is make sure this is in and good and tight. You twist it so it locks in place. You want to tug on it lightly just to make sure it's in there.
Okay.
You want to lay your box on the floor. You're going to plug this into the existing 20 or 30 amp power source, whatever that may be.
Okay.
Then make sure these breakers are on, because a lot of times in shipping they become tripped or they become in the unset position.
Okay.
Then you want to go around to all your receptacles and push your test buttons to make sure all your receptacles are up and on.
Okay.
So now what we've done is we've taken the 240 power from the room. We have a 120 usable box now to plug our heaters in.
Okay.
Those beautiful green cords you have in your hand, what we're going to do with those, these are the cords that are actually going to go to our heater. So what we're going to want to do with these is we want to go ahead and get these unsecured.
Okay.
You can just lay the ties somewhere so you know where they are. You're going to take these particular cords. What you want to do is you want to make sure you plug into the heater first, this second, okay? Because you don't want any kind of chance of a surge or anything like that on the other end.
Okay.
Very low likelihood, but safety is always better. So let's go ahead and get over here to the heater and let's start getting this thing up.
Yes, Tom. We've just set up a distribution box.
Mhm.
How do we get moving with this heater?
Well, here's what we're going to do. You're going to take these green cords, which come with the heater, of course. The important plugs on this machine are your A, okay? A as an alpha, and D. So go ahead and put one in there for D for me.
D.
These are the two main controls for the heater. These two must be plugged in order for the heater to function properly.
Okay.
Then what you're going to want to do is you want to run your cords, try to run them around the back of the heater
Okay.
so they're not directly in the path of the heat.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to run these over here to our power distribution center. Okay? What you want to do is you want to go ahead and plug these in. Like so. Go ahead and plug yours in for me. Plug it in right here. There you go. Yes. Go ahead and plug it in right there for me. And then we're going to go ahead and get the other cords plugged in so we can get started. So, okay, so we've got the heater plugged in. We have illuminated lights at every place that we have power going to. So what that tells us is we have power coming into the heater.
Yeah, it's evident here.
Right. First thing you have is the thermostat is lit up, which means, again, we have power coming into the machine. What you're going to want to look for, these amber lights don't necessarily tell you if you have power or not. Look at the cord itself.
Yes.
See, we put the lid in on, we put a lighted in on the cord just so that you would know
That
it has power.
flowing. Yeah.
So now that we've established the fact we have power at the heater, let's get our airflow set up.
Sure.
What you want to do is you want to take this fan